y'all, Kelly Whitney back with 34 of 40 things that older Black women should tell younger Black women but don't. And the lesson today is feel free to date more than one person at a time. This is sensitive. Relationships are very personal and you need to make your own decisions, even whether or not you want to take this advice. From my perspective, if a relationship or marriage is important to you enough that you're going to devote some time and energy to trying to realize that particular dream, then you need to be strategic about it. Dating one person at a time can be problematic because if you devote all your time and energy to one person and they don't turn out to be the right one, you got to start at square one. Whereas I think it might be a little bit easier if you had a little bit of a roster. I'm not saying date like a half a dozen guys at one time or a half a dozen ladies at one time, because how can you really focus on each person and get to know them? But if you want to date 2 or 3 people at a time, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I don't think that you should sleep with these people until you have decided that they're going to have some value in your life. And I also don't think that you need to see people every single day right away until you have a better idea of who they are. Because when you quickly attach yourself to a man, if he's a bad guy, you may not see the red flags because you're too close and you're too invested. If your attention is split between 2 or 3 guys, you're less likely to get as emotionally attached to one frivolously. You're dating one guy and he's love bombing. You see him every single day. He's listening to you. He's asking you questions. What do you want in a man? What do you want in a relationship? You know, he's asking and he's interested, and you're telling him every little thing that's on your mind, and he's storing it all up and building a persona so he can give you exactly what you want and get exactly what he wants. It takes time to get to know people. That's why I've always been very disdainful of men who have come at me on the dating scene and said, tell me what you look for in a relationship. Tell me what you look for in a man. Why? So I can give you a fucking blueprint to take advantage of me? Good night. My thing is, get to know people organically. Ask questions about their likes, their dislikes. Talk about the environment in which you might be dating. Oh, what do you think of this restaurant? What about the menu looks appealing to you? Those are the things that really allow you to get to know someone, because you can learn their preferences. Perhaps there's a story attached to, oh, I see you have chosen to eat this. You know, my grandma used to make this dish, da 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 da. That's the kind of relationship that you want to cultivate. It's not a session where you sit there and give your list and then somebody like picks and, you know, goes through and like crosses things off and checks boxes. That's not the move. You want to organically get to know people. But the thing about getting to know multiple people at one time, as opposed to devoting all of your energy to one person at a time, it's less likely that that individual will be able to like pull a fast one on you. You'll have space in between the dates. I still think you should be consistent. You know, you don't want like weeks to pass between each date or each conversation, because that's no good either. If you spend time, like over however many weeks or months, getting to know someone thoroughly, gently, organically, then I think you get a better idea of who they are. Not always, but I think frequently you do. Women have a tendency to just fall flat on their fucking faces in love with people and just like give it their all. And when it doesn't work out, it's like, I just wasted all this time with this person. You were too close. You didn't see the red flags. It happens. It's nothing to like beat yourself up over. That's why I say I don't think you should sleep with everybody when you're dating multiple people at a time, because from just a purely practical perspective, what if you come up pregnant? I absolutely advocate that you should date more than one person at a time. Fight me in the comments if you want to, but I see the benefits in having multiple men on a roster. From a purely selfish perspective, if one of them pisses you off or one of them begins to take you for granted, let's say one of them cancels a date at the last minute and makes a habit of it, you won't feel so bad about cutting that person out or, you know, ceasing communication with that person if you got 2 others on deck. To entertain you. You see what I'm saying? Take it around. If you're interested in dating, consider dating more than one man at a time. Again, not advocating that you sleep with all of these people. I think that's always going to be a personal decision that's up to you, but it's a little dicey. It's a little risky just from a physical perspective. But yeah, do what you want. Think for yourself. Take this advice or leave it where it is. You know, advice is like a bag of bricks. You can pick it up, you can put it down. With anything, be safe out here. Listen to people more than you talk. Watch them very carefully. I think think it's important when you're evaluating potential romantic partners that you listen very attentively. You watch how they treat other people. Watch how they behave when they go out. Do they treat the waitress with dignity and respect? That is the kind of information that will help you get an accurate picture of who they are as a person. I think the reason that I advocate spending a lot of time with someone, like a chunk of time spread out, is that you need to see whether or not their behavior is consistent. Now, sometimes people are going to have bad days and get angry and snap off and whatever else. That's not necessarily a red flag. If you're dating someone over a protracted length of time and you notice a pattern of explosions and temper tantrums and that sort of thing, okay, well, Stevie Wonder don't need to tell you that he sees a problem. You feel what I'm saying? And I think older Black women may not tell younger Black women that they should consider dating multiple men at the same time, because it's not really a common practice, and older Black women are remarkably conservative. You can probably see I'm kind of conservative. I tell you, don't sleep with these men. I do. I tell you that. Don't hop in and out of these beds. I'm conservative. I don't care. It's fine. You can do what I say or you can not do what I say. You're right either way. But I think older Black women, we're not necessarily going to tell you things that are outside of what we've been taught or what is the norm. But I'm also going to tell you that that's not the only way to be. That's not the only way to live. And you have to do what's right for you at the end of the day. So that is number 34 of 40 things that older Black women should tell younger Black women, but sometimes don't. And I hope you guys come back for number 35. Thank you. Bye.